The article which I wrote for this course addressed the question of the insurance defense industry and the type of law firm that successfully handled such work. In this case, the project was a business and legal history of a law firm on Long Island known as Curtis, Hart, and Zaklukiewicz. By way of background for the video, insurance defense practitioners are those who defend claims from plaintiffs, including automobile accidents, slip and trip and falls, claims against municipalities, and claims like that. The significance of the article was whether this firm was representative of that industry. As the basic economic model for the paper, I relied upon Module 1's article by Randall Holcomb, Progress in Entrepreneurship, which posits that the indicators of economic progress are not simply income growth, quote, but rather the substantial change in the qualitative nature of the economy's output. Holcomb offers insight into what he considers the key distinctions of successful businesses, which include product differentiation, such as new or improved products, or product characteristics, with profit as the reward for innovation and optimality, or the maximization of business processes, not necessarily outcomes. My research was whether Curtis, Hart, and Zaklukiewicz fit Holcomb's two areas of entrepreneurship by finding more profitable methods of production and discovering better product characteristics for consumers within the standard competitive model. My conclusion was that Curtis, Hart, and Zaklukiewicz was successful as it offered a wide range of qualitative legal services for a competitive or quantitative rate. In fact, Curtis, Hart, and Zaklukiewicz was a leader in regard to this industry, as it was one of the first firms on Long Island to specifically hold itself out as a, quote, defense firm, unquote, rather than a general practice firm that did some defense work. In that regard, the firm provided outstanding qualitative representation of its clients and customers, and it did so at a cost-effective basis. I relied upon my own research, and I attempted to include a reading from each week's module from our course as part of the paper. However, two resources, in addition to Holcomb, stand out as key authorities. The first was Kenneth Abraham's The Liability Century, Insurance and Tort Law from the Progressive Era to 9/11, and that article was used as a background and history of auto insurance and corresponding growth of auto claims and the professionalization of the plaintiff's bar. The second article was Herbert Kritzer's The Commodification of Insurance Defense Practice, which covered the basic practices of insurance defense firms. The methodology of the paper was to do background research on insurance defense firms and the history of auto industry or auto claims. It was to develop any written material by or about the firm and develop neutral and objective questions about the business practices and conduct interviews based upon those questions using a key sample group of former associates with the firm. A similar model for conducting interviews to create oral history narratives was considered in Popp and Fellman's Writing Business History, Creating Narratives. Further, in this week's article by Christian Sandvig, How Technical is Technical Research, also included interviews from a sample group. Similar to my research, Sandvig's research was quote, about communication technology and its multidisciplinary bridging the areas of law, communication, and science and technology studies at page 144. Sandvig indicates that the study of technology brings two issues. First is jargon or definitional language problems, and second is that technology studies feel, quote, risky, unquote, at 146. One way to avoid misperception is to research from the very beginning. In regard to both Sandvig and the Popp and Fellman articles, I think that my methodology to gather evidence about the firm's practice was both objective and uniform. Perhaps Daniel Bem's writing the empirical journal article may have been more helpful for our course had it been assigned prior to our papers rather than after. Bem distinguishes between the article that was planned and the article that makes the most sense after the results. He states, they are rarely the same, and the correct answer is 2, and that's at page 2. In writing the article, he said strive for accuracy and clarity. That was at page 3. The first step is organization. BEM notes to write clearly and directly and be mindful of your audience at page 4. BEM takes a page from legal analysis, advising us to make an opening statement at page 5. And in terms of legal arguments in the legal industry, we're taught about primacy and recency. For me, I included an abstract, and I went back to law school and I used the IRAC formula, which is issue, rule, application, and conclusion. And that was much of the format of the paper. I used a legal argument or a legal analysis to write the paper. So the paper, one of the other final points that BEM makes is to be conscious of style. I tried to be conscious of style throughout the paper. And I would say that the result was a solid piece of research, which I believe accomplishes what I set out to do this semester. Thanks for watching.